What would make someone ashamed of their heritage? For him, it was a slow poison, a creeping doubt that took root in his childhood. He was a Filipino in America, but he didn't want to be. America, with its shining promises, whispered that being different was bad. Being Filipino, he thought, was something to hide. He remembered the lunchbox, the one with the distinct aroma of adobo. His classmates would wrinkle their noses, their laughter echoing in the cafeteria. He wanted to disappear, to melt into the background. He envied their peanut butter sandwiches, their bland normalcy. He started asking his mother to pack him something else, anything but the food that screamed of his heritage. He buried his Filipino self deep inside. He refused to speak Tagalog even when his grandparents visited. Their words sounded strange, foreign to his ears, even though they were the language of his ancestors. His shame was a heavy cloak, suffocating the vibrant culture that pulsed within him. The whispers started subtly, like the rustle of dry leaves in the wind. They were the offhand comments, the jokes made at the expense of those people. Filipinos, they said, were maids and janitors, their lives relegated to the shadows. They were the punchline, never the protagonist. He internalized those whispers, letting them shape his perception of his own people. He saw only what the media portrayed: poverty, corruption, and natural disasters. The Philippines became synonymous with struggle, a far cry from the gleaming facade of American success he so desperately craved. The weight of those whispers pressed down on him, suffocating any flicker of pride that dared to surface. He became an unwitting accomplice in his own cultural erasure, silencing the very stories that deserved to be celebrated. The Philippines. Even the name sounded foreign to him, a million miles away from his carefully constructed American life. It was a place he had never been, a distant land shrouded in a haze of preconceived notions and inherited biases. His parents would talk about their homeland with a wistful longing in their voices. They painted pictures with their words, describing the emerald rice paddies, the vibrant festivals, and the warmth of their families back home. But their stories felt like fairy tales to him, disconnected from the harsh realities he believed to be true. He saw pictures, faded Polaroids of smiling faces and breathtaking landscapes. The Philippines remained a distant, unknowable entity, a world away from the life he was building for himself. He clung to the illusion of his American dream, unaware of the richness he was denying himself. It took him 40 years to finally set foot on Filipino soil. 40 years of carrying the weight of shame and denial. He landed in Manila, the bustling capital, with a heart full of trepidation. This wasn't a pilgrimage of self-discovery for him, but a business trip, another box to tick on his relentless pursuit of success. The city hit him like a wave, a cacophony of sounds and smells. Jeepneys, those iconic Filipino buses, sputtered through the streets, their sides adorned with vibrant murals. Street vendors hawked their wares, their voices a melodic counterpoint to the honking horns. It was overwhelming, chaotic and utterly alive. He found himself drawn to the heart of the city, to the Tondo slums. It was here, amidst the poverty and hardship, that he felt a strange sense of familiarity. The people of Tondo possessed a resilience that took his breath away. It was in the slums of Tondo that the walls he had so carefully erected around himself began to crumble. He saw the humanity in the eyes of the people he met, their struggles echoing the stories his parents had shared. The Philippines was no longer a distant abstraction to him, but a living, breathing tapestry, woven with the threads of resilience, joy, and an indomitable spirit. He spent his days talking to the locals, listening to their stories of hardship and hope. They shared their food, their laughter, and their stories, opening his eyes to a world he had been blind to. One evening, he found himself sitting with a group of women, their hands deftly weaving intricate patterns with brightly colored threads. They told him about their lives, about the challenges they faced and the small joys they cherished. Their strength and resilience humbled him, their laughter a balm to his soul. The shame he had carried for so long began to dissipate, replaced by a newfound sense of pride. These were his people, his blood. Leaving the Philippines was bittersweet for him. He carried a piece of the islands with him, a newfound appreciation for his heritage etched into his soul. The shame he had once felt was replaced by a fierce desire to learn, to connect, and to share the beauty of his culture with the world. He sought out Filipino communities in America, eager to immerse himself in the traditions he had once shunned. He attended cultural events, devoured Filipino literature, and learned to cook the dishes that had once filled him with embarrassment. The more he learned, the more he realized how much he had missed. The Philippines wasn't just about poverty and hardship. It was a land of vibrant colors, rich traditions, and a people known for their warmth, hospitality, and unwavering spirit. He embraced his Filipino identity, no longer content to let it exist in the shadows. Reclaiming his heritage wasn't just about learning the language or eating the food. It was about understanding the values that underpinned Filipino culture: family, respect, resilience, and a deep-seated joy in the face of adversity. He sought out mentors within the Filipino American community, individuals who had navigated the complexities of dual identity and emerged with a strong sense of self. They taught him about the history of Filipinos in America, about the struggles they faced and the triumphs they achieved. He learned about the contributions of Filipino Americans to American society, from the farm workers who fought for labor rights to the nurses who dedicated their lives to caring for others. Their stories filled him with a sense of pride, a reminder that Filipinos had always been an integral part of the American fabric. His journey of self-discovery was an ongoing process, a continuous unraveling of layers of internalized shame and prejudice. He began to share his story, speaking at universities, community centers, and conferences. He talked about his journey from shame to pride, about the transformative power of embracing one's heritage. He wanted others to understand that being Filipino wasn't something to hide, but something to celebrate. He used his writing to challenge stereotypes and misconceptions, to paint a more nuanced picture of the Philippines and its people. His work became a platform to showcase the talents of other Filipino artists, musicians, and writers. He wanted to create a space where Filipino voices could be heard, where their stories could be told on their own terms. As he shared his story, he was met with an outpouring of support, not just from other Filipinos, but from people of all backgrounds who resonated with the universal themes of identity, belonging, and the search for self-acceptance. He realized that his story wasn't unique. Countless individuals had grappled with similar feelings of shame and self-doubt, their own cultural identities marginalized or misunderstood. His vulnerability created space for others to share their own stories, to find solace in shared experiences. He received countless messages from people who had been touched by his words, from young Filipino Americans struggling with their identity to individuals from other cultures who had faced similar challenges. Their stories fueled his passion, reminding him of the importance of representation and the power of storytelling. He came to understand that identity is not a singular thread, but a complex tapestry woven from countless strands. His heritage, his experiences, his values, and his beliefs all contributed to the intricate patterns that made him who he was. Embracing one's heritage didn't mean rejecting other aspects of one's identity. It was about recognizing the richness and complexity of individual experiences and celebrating the unique perspectives that each person brings to the table. As a Filipino American, he was a product of two cultures, two histories, two languages. His identity was a bridge between two worlds, a testament to the power of cultural exchange and the beauty of diversity. His journey from shame to pride was a personal one, but it is a journey that resonates with countless individuals who have grappled with the complexities of identity and belonging. It is a reminder that everyone is on a journey of self-discovery, and that embracing one's heritage is an essential part of that journey. To his fellow Filipino Americans, he would say this: their culture is beautiful, their history is rich, and their contributions to American society are invaluable. They should continue to celebrate their heritage, to share their stories, and to fight for a world where all identities are valued and respected. They should stand together, united in their diversity, and create a future where their children and grandchildren can embrace their heritage with pride, knowing that they are an integral part of the rich tapestry of American society. His journey is a shared one, and together they can create a world where everyone feels a sense of belonging, where diversity is celebrated, and where all cultures are honored and respected.